This is an interesting story, this is a story which actually shows how much ego a man can have, and I'll be openly blunt about it. So in 2011, when I was running my aviation company, one of the minister's pimps came and he told me, "Why don't you get yourself a consular position? It'll protect you, it'll give you access, things like that." Kind of, I had it in my mind, and then I left for Hawaii. I thought, why not get a consularship from one of the remote Pacific countries? There are plenty of them. And while I was there, I met this king from Hawaii that he said, "I'm going to make you the ambassador of India." I said, "Okay, interesting." You know, dope smoking king of Hawaii who probably runs the underground Dakine industry. But fast forward 6 years, I meet one of the guys on my second visit to Hawaii, to Bali, a man called Amir Rabik. Amir Rabik was the Consul General of Spain. 2016, October, November, October and November. I thought, let's go and hang out with him. I went there. He had been newly divorced, and he was sad. One of his wives were dying. The other one divorced him. We dropped LSD and we became friends. He invited me to stay there. I thought consulate. I went inside Rotten Castle, but I was on the trip consulate. So I used to. That time I was illegal in Germany, in Indonesia, Bali, almost 6 months. I thought, wow, consulate, protection. It's all in the mind though. Drive a CC car. I started having dreads, long hair, that time, yeah. And I stayed in the consulate for 9 months. Spent almost 100K. I mean, $10,000. No, I think no, not 100K. 100K including everything. I think including drugs, parties, food. Any given time, 10, 20 people. You know, I think all inclusive it was. I spent almost $7, $8,000 a month staying there in the big estate, rotten estate, rotten. It's insane how rotten that place was. But my eyes, now this is where the point comes in. My eyes were completely covered with consulates, Spanish consulates. BMW, broken BMW. I used to drive with no shoes, barefoot, smoking a J, driving all around Bali in the CC car. And that's what I paid for. So can you imagine like paying $8 to $10,000, something like that? I have no count for an ego trip. Now this is what ego does. And after 4 months, I was outside my room, and I was always scared of a terrace, which is rotten. A friend of mine came. It was the full moon. He came. He was visiting. I wanted to show him the consulate estate. It was kind of big, 1.5 hectares. Um, Ego and pride again. And we stood on the balcony and we fell. I broke the right side of my face. He broke his back. But even after that, I did not change. I went back to the consulate, started driving that car, and started living there. And I was paying through my nose every month 10 grand a month sometimes because I was fueling his entire operations. This is ego. Stupid fucking ego, because I was born in Delhi. Delhi's other name is Heli. It's a land where jinns live. It's possessed with jinns. So many deaths because of Mahabharata. The whole battlefield, and millions of people died some 5,000 or 10,000 years back. And those spirits are hanging around in the place. And they are greedy, lusty, sick. The energy is sick. So I somehow escaped that. But the jinns stayed inside me. And they were all about playing mischief and ego. Lost money, lost my mind, lost the half side of my face. It'll never be normal again. But it's okay. It's ego. Delhi ego. It takes time to pass the realm of the jinns and come to the island of gods. It's fucked up, it's fucking fucked up. Again, no one to blame. It's me. It's my ego. And my loss. You are the boss. Hang yourself on the cross. Get out before it gets moldy and moss. But ego makes you stay in that shit junkyard. Junkyard glory, as we call it. Even if they look so beautiful outside, it's actually a pile of shit in which you are swimming and fantasizing you are in the bed of roses. That's what ego does to you. Negative ego. You all need an ego, but negative ego. I mean, at that time, I was feeling so positive. Wow, man, I'm driving this. It was a fantasy. Somebody put that in my head. So, and without taking responsibility, I want to live a life of a console. Literally paid money to buy a spot in the rotten house. So much money, man. It's not a joke, It's like, and see what it is. I paid through my nose, my lips, my cheeks, my eyes. Everything is broken. Every day I have to live with an alien body inside this body. Ego. I sometimes wonder why. Oh yeah, one more thing. He ordered a drug dealer for me. It was amazing, man. I wanted to smoke all the time because it was painful, even now. And that guy ordered the dealer who got me smokes. And I must say, it's all ego. He pushed your ego so up, and that's what he does. That's what I think all fucking diplomat I see. Diplomatic, deep, low, mate I see. If you break the word down. The fucking traps. Ego. But you don't fall into the trap if you don't have an ego. Somebody pushes your ego, somebody makes you feel great, somebody makes you feel wow. Of course, your ego gonna go for a ride, and the fall will come before a pride, and that's the fall which put this guy to follow his higher call, because then I knew I have to get the fuck out. Already like 18 months illegal. Oh yeah, and then I'll tell you the story. After I got out, I got myself an Indonesian Gulf, modern banker, New Yorker. To again pay. Got out. What? I paid the immigration officer in Batam. I paid him in Bitcoin. It's fucking insane. Bitcoin and cocaine were those days. Ego. All ego. It's painful. It's painful. Painful. This whole existence is painful. It's very painful. It's very painful. But I know where I have to go. I have to leave my ego behind. Even a couple of months back, I fucked it up big time. Big time. I'm learning every day.